All right, we are on day four, part four of our planning party 2023. This series is designed specifically with single moms or with working moms in mind, to plan out your year, to plan out the right goals for the right season that you're in. Today, we are going to be discussing mindset minefields. So, if you think back to the four S's that we've been talking through, this is the set a healthy mindset. So um, now that you know your season and you have selected the goals, it's time to get your mind right, right? Mindset, you might be like, oh my God, it's not sexy, it's not fun, but it is key. Okay. Do not skip this step. This is part of it. And we need to have the right thoughts because what we tell ourselves is what we believe. And we can't change our behaviors until we change our narrative. So that's simple. It's not actually simple, but it's that direct. So when we don't believe we can achieve something, or achieve the goals that we set, we're setting ourselves up to fail. Um, so you might be like, no, wait a minute, Cassie, what do you mean? I don't think I can achieve my goal. Obviously, I do, or I wouldn't have said it. But this is where mindset is so sneaky because sometimes we feel great. We feel like we can conquer the world. And then other times it knocks us down because we have these little voices in our heads. You see, we have these little voices called limiting beliefs, living in our subconscious. So, to achieve any goal we set, we must first root out any limiting beliefs tied to that goal. A limiting belief is just a false story that we tell ourselves. And the key there is that it's false. Limiting beliefs typically come in three flavors. Um, Limiting beliefs about yourself that make you feel like you can't do something because it's something inherently wrong with you. The second flavor is a limiting belief about the world that makes you feel like you can't do something because no one will let you. And the third kind of limiting belief is about life, and it makes you feel like you can't do something because it's too difficult. But here's the good thing: beliefs are not facts. Okay, we can change our beliefs. So, how do limiting beliefs affect you? Well, let's say, your limiting belief sounds a lot like, I'm not attractive enough to talk to that person. That person is way out of my league. Or maybe you've had the narrative of, you could never be successful doing that. I would really love to be an interior designer, but I wouldn't be successful at doing that. I'm not good enough at that. That I told myself that one. That's the one that I told myself in college. I wanted to go into interior design, but I was scared. I had limiting beliefs around that, so I went into business instead. Um, so that held me back. It changed the trajectory of my life. These limiting beliefs can be so impactful, and when we change them, we get that impact tenfold, but in a good way. So I'm not good with connecting with people. I could never start my own business. I can't leave my garbage marriage because I'll be damaged goods and no one will ever want to be with me again. This is a limiting belief that maybe you're telling yourself or maybe you've been told. Um, a lot of these I actually took out of my own personal life, so just putting that all out there. I'm a woman, people won't listen to me. I'll just keep quiet and work meetings instead. I'm too busy and I don't have time. I think this one is probably the most common that we tell ourselves as women across the board. So, how does this impact you in real life? If these are the thoughts that you're having in your head, this can manifest to look like excuses, complaining, self sabotage, hesitating, or you give in to the fear. You jump to conclusions and make assumptions, leading to miscommunications, procrastination, negative self talk or thoughts. So, in the spirit of New Year's, let's do an example. So, let's say you have a goal around losing weight. This is a pretty common example this time of year. So, what does the voice in your head say? Does it say, um, you know, I can't do this. I've tried in the past and it's just not going to work. Or it's like, yeah, I've got this. That's the voice we want. That's our motivating voice that we want to flip the script to. So, I want you to feel awesome all the time. I want you to feel amazing. I want you to feel like you can do it. But I also know there are going to be days where you are going to struggle, where you don't feel like you can do it. So we're going to plan for that, okay? Because we can't all be motivated all the time. It's just not humanly possible. So I want you to think of your goal and then think of something that can get in your way, that is going to get in your way. This could be a mindset, like we've talked about, or it could be physical. So let's think of ways that we can proactively go after that obstacle and plan for it. So an example might be, this is never going to work. I failed in the past, going back to losing weight, right? Um, when I have that thought, I can flip it by doing a reflection, by reading an affirmation, setting a reminder on my phone that tells me that I can, or looking at my health tracker app or whatever that might be. This is how I'm going to overcome that obstacle and rewrite that false narrative when it pops into my head. Maybe it's, I don't like to cook, so I eat out a lot. You could get a healthy meal service. If that's an obstacle, then order it in, make it easy for you. Maybe you have a goal around running. You're going to run 5 times a week, and if you are a runner outside, you got to plan for that day that it's raining, right? So I'm going to plan for 3 times a week, or I'm going to do it indoor cardio. So that way I have some flexibility. So continue to do something like this for each of the limiting beliefs or obstacles that you can foresee. If you have some of my other courses, this is a great time to visit the shifting beliefs lesson. This is specifically in Life Redesigned. So that's available, or you can continue to do the examples here. Okay, on a broader scale, as moms, we also have to address toxic motherhood myths that are so prevalent in our society, right? We have kind of two cultures or subcultures of motherhood that I see everywhere on TikTok, on Pinterest, on Facebook, on Instagram. It's everywhere, right? We've got the hot mess mom culture, subculture, I would say, which is like the coffee until wine, sweatpants and ratty means. Girl, I don't get dressed every day either, but like celebrating this idea that motherhood is so hard and wrong and heavy that we just have to be a hot mess at any time. And really what this is rooted here in is fear, because then I see a lot of this turn into shaming other moms for having, for not struggling quite as much. So it's a culture that's trapped in fear and this loss of selfhood of like, mothers are need to be martyrs and we need to be hot messes and we can't have boundaries and we can't have self-care. Ew, gross. Let's not do that. Let's address that myth, because I don't believe you have to choose yourself or your kids. You can choose yourself and your kids. The other side is this perfectionist mom, this like mama robot Stepford mom, which is also toxic on the other end of the spectrum. This is for my high stress, high strung people. It's this idea that you must always be busy. Um, it leads to a lot of anxiety and needing to be in control. You're always full of guilt if you do even a glimmer of anything for yourself. Again, it's a loss of selfhood and this idea that momming is supposed to be so hard. And okay, motherhood is hard, but it doesn't need to be all consumingly hard. You are still allowed to be a woman outside of motherhood. Motherhood is a piece of who you are, it is not your entire identity, right? You have a career, you have friends, you have a significant other, maybe you are a full complete human, and we need to take that into account as you think about your obstacles, your limiting beliefs, and the narratives in your head. So what this often sounds like, moms have to earn the right to take a moment for yourself. If I want you to really focus on this one, especially if you have identified that you are going into a resetting season. You don't need to earn self-care. Full stop. You don't need to earn it. Maybe you have heard the message somewhere of you're not really a woman anymore. You're mostly just a mom. This should reflect in the way that you live, dress, talk about how you should spend your time. Often I think of, the way we shame mother celebrities for posting, photos of themselves feeling good, or maybe wearing something that is not for moms. Um, so if you have felt that yourself, pay attention to that narrative. Good moms have sticky floors and happy kids. Good moms have that, and good moms also have clean floors and not sticky kids. Good moms are just good moms. There aren't these like criteria of what your house needs to look like. Good moms are hot messes because they're focused on everyone but themselves. Again, this is just asking for burnout. And, mom life is the hard life, the martyr life, the zero time for yourself life. Ew, no, that does not make motherhood. That doesn't celebrate the joy and the fun and the all the vibrancy that motherhood actually does bring to your life. So, if you have any of those, make sure that you're paying special attention to them and work on rewriting them this quarter. So why do we actually cling to sabotaging myths that we tell ourselves? Why do we cling to these narratives? A lot of times it's a fear of success. I know that sounds weird, but a lot of us do have a fear of success. We self-sabotage because if we hit a certain level of success, we then have to maintain that level. And that can be scary, right? Fear of failure, fear of wasting our precious time, or the fear of not being perfect. So, how that manifests: perfectionism, mom guilt, unworthiness, lack of boundaries. We're going to talk about all of this more in depth throughout the year in videos. If you want to hear more about it, make sure you subscribe. But this is how it manifests. Maybe you see some of yourself in these. So, committing to vibrant motherhood. This is part of the work of adulthood is re-examining the roles we play and the expectations we have of ourselves. It doesn't need to be perfect. It also doesn't need to be a hot mess. We can be somewhere in between. And I think that's where vibrant living really comes into play and why I created this community, because I wanted more moms to have this joy in motherhood, not just focusing on everything needs to be perfect or everything is a hot mess and falling apart. So during these years of motherhood, it's essential and the most impactful time to do it, to re-examine our expectations of ourselves and others. As moms, we're the center of our families. And so the healthier our mindset, the healthier our family is going to be as a whole. Investing in ourselves is really investing in the whole family all at once. But mindset isn't something you just adjust once and you're good. This is an ongoing journey and one that can take you on twists and turns depending on your seasons, your goals, life events that come up. And that's exactly why I created the Vibrant Life Society, because motherhood should never be done alone. We are a group of high powered, high achieving women. We are go getters, we are doers, and we are here for each other. This is an honest community, welcoming community, and I want us to do life together. So, what does vibrant motherhood look like in contrast to those other toxic types of motherhood that we talked about? It's you show up for yourself and you go after what you want. You have structure and consistency in your life and your home, but you accept that you need flexibility and adaptability because life is messy and unpredictable, and that's okay. You're an action taking, problem solving woman, but you can't do it all. You can't do all the things all the time, and you can't do this motherhood thing alone either. You enjoy and embrace motherhood. But you're also allowed to be more than just a mom. You're allowed to be, the vibrant woman that you were before you had babies. Okay, so that was it for today. I'll step off my soapbox, stepping off now. So complete the Mindset Minefield section of the workbook. And if you feel comfortable, share any obstacles you've identified and how you plan to overcome it. The more you share with the group, the more we can inspire others. So I would love to see your comments. If you don't feel comfortable, always email me. I'm always here for you guys. And next, we're going to go into the third S, which is strategy. And this is where we come up with how you're going to achieve your goals. So by now, you've identified your season, you've selected your goal, and you've committed to the belief that you can and you will achieve this goal. And you've identified some obstacles that you may run up against and how you're going to overcome them. So next, we are going to get into the how. We've talked about goals. We're going to talk about routines and habits tomorrow as we round out our series on our 2023 planning party for working moms and creating a vibrant, beautiful life. So tomorrow we're creating your action plan. So come ready with pen and your workbook. I'll see you tomorrow.